This is a PCT110 Network Essentials. My name is Professor Conk. I'll be with you the next 15 weeks. And tonight we're going to go over an introduction to PCT110. There's a pin in the middle of your course when you log into Eagle. That'll be up every night when you guys get here. And I'll also write it on the board because it's pretty small up on the overhead. So that when you enter into Eagle, there will be a pin for you to enter in for attendance. But I'm not going to keep you real long tonight on the first session, but I do want to cover the makeup of the class, starting with week 2, our normal structure of doing things. And go over some of the topics you'll be covering this semester. Okay? And so this, I guess, is my 13th year teaching this course. It's a 26th time teaching it. And we actually have some of the older computers actually in the back of the room still that we had originally when I first started, the little white computers back there. I keep them around. But we also have integrated newer technology as well as the years go on. And so whether you're here just for credit for a degree or you're into networking already or you're interested possibly in going to networking, this course will give you the basics understanding of what a network is, how to build a network, how to structure a network. These computers in here are totally off the RBC network, and so you don't log in like you normally would or log out. When you come in, they'll generally already be logged in for you. The reason for that is because we do a lot of security type of applications in here, and if we were to do this out in the computer labs, the network folks here would freak out. And so we basically we're off the grid on our own network in here, and so you can have a seat wherever you want. And so when you come in, the networks or the computers will generally be logged on. If there's ever a time when you come in and the internet does not work, I will show you the first time how to get it to connect, and then after that you can do it on your own, because generally what happens is we have Cisco classes in here and they change the IP addresses manually on these computers, and if they forget to change them back, then your internet connection will not work. That computer on the very back row is not working, but you won't need it tonight anyway, so you can just have a seat. You're okay. So let's go ahead and go over the makeup of the class as far as Eagle goes. When you log into Eagle, again, you've got the attendance pin each time. Below that is a live chat session that if I'm online, you can type in your name and I can chat live with you. And basically what it is on this one is whenever you type in your name and wait, it will see if I'm online. If I'm not online, it'll come back and it'll tell you that I'm not available. I think I'm logged in right now to my office, so there you go. So I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like here real quick. I'm logged in on my iPad, so. All right, and so that's basically what it would look like if you were to use this feature. If I am offline, I believe it does say I'm offline, or a little, doesn't have a frown face or something. But basically you can use that if I'm online, ask any questions you might have about the course. The other way to communicate is over here on the right side. You can send a quick message to me via email. And then I want to go across, starting on the left side here. If you click on the task button down here on the left side, there is a task button. And then if you expand the milestones, it will go into what's coming up, what's due. The About Me is all the way down here at the last place, because some folks have already turned that in, I believe. But the milestones basically just give you due date, the assignment title, and if you click on any one of these titles, like if I click on the About Me title, it'll bring you right to the assignment itself. And we'll go over this one in just a second because it's in week 1. But if you don't like the view here of milestones, because the way it's supposed to work is when you submit something, it check marks in here that you've submitted it, but it does not mean I've graded it, okay? So a lot of students like to view it via the calendar tab. If you click on that, it'll bring you to this tab here, the calendar tab, and has a little bit better view for you on that, okay? As far as when things are coming up that are due. So calendar view might be better for you. Now if you go to the Lessons tab, the way the course is designed in Eagle, I put the week number and then the date beside it. That should be the day we're actually meeting. If it's incorrect, I'll correct it. That should be what it is though. The course documents just has that, different documents about the course, about PCT110. We'll go ahead and click on that first. Expand that out a little bit so we can see a little bit better. So, Network Essential is a course on providing introduction to local area networks or LANs. It's useful for land managers, supervisors of lands, users of lands, or those considering purchasing or installing a local area network. Topics include needs analysis, methods to evaluate and determine specifics of hardware and software for purchase, installation, management, troubleshooting of a local area network system. Microcomputer-based local area networks will be emphasized. What that means is the fancy term for PC, all right? And everybody has PCs at home and at work. Advantages and disadvantages of links to a mainframe, a mini computer will be discussed, and you will install a local area network as part of the course. That's just part of the structure of what you'll do, part of the topic that you'll do. Going back to the course documents, the research paper and final presentation, we'll go to that second. Basically what this is all about is in lieu of a final, the last 2 weeks of the class, weeks 14 and 15, you'll be presenting a presentation up here along with submitting a final paper on a topic of your choosing. Basically all you need to know tonight is just that. Okay, it's a 5 to 7 page paper. We'll go over more into detail. You can read more into detail as far as the layout of the paper. But I do want to scroll all the way down to the topics real quick because you have a couple weeks to think about a topic. Even though you just started with networking, you might know little or nothing about what a network is even. We're going to go right into topics right now so you'll have time to think about it and won't be rushed. So here's some topics you can choose from. And again, you have, this is due 2 weeks or a week from this coming Sunday actually. Apple Talk and Macintosh Network, copper cabling, email protocols, fiber optic data cabling, IBM SNA, ISDN, DSL cable modem, malicious code, multicasting, NetBayou, network management, networking hardware, networking with Windows, Novell networking, OS2, point-to-point protocol, remote access, server hardware, TCP/IP, the internet, token ring, Usenet, VPNs, wireless networking, and then lastly, electric topic. Now, if you don't know any of these terms, which I said I know most of you won't know some of these terms, you have a tool called Google, and you can Google the term and find out what it is. Because this week you have literally only one item due this week by Sunday, so you have plenty of time to look at all these. And this is what I want you to do. Look at this list exhaustively, kind of, take Google and go through and Google the ones you don't know what it is at all. And I want you to choose a topic that kind of piques your interest, that you know little or nothing about. Okay? Make sense? And so just choose that topic, and then about mid-semester, I'm going to have you submit this topic actually in a couple weeks, but after mid-semester I'll help you kind of hone it down in week 11, and you'll literally have a whole class session, a whole Thursday period to work on your research paper and presentation, and I'll kind of prep you the week before in week 10 on some tips I've learned over the years on creating research paper, creating presentations, and help you kind of narrow down your topic a little bit maybe. So you have a couple weeks to play around with that. Again, if you don't, what I would suggest is just Google these terms, figure out what they are, and then decide out of these 23 which one you'd like to do. Now, if you went through all the 23 and you don't like any of them or it doesn't really interest you, but during the reading of these topics, you came across another one that might interest you that has to do something in networking, that's fine, okay? I had a student did one last semester. I hadn't had do this topic before. It was social networks and how social networks use networking, and went over all the different ways people share files and share pictures and share media via social network, and went over security and ramifications of security and all that entails that. And so it was kind of a pretty good presentation, different way, a different type of presentation. And so that's fine. As long as it has something to do with networking, you're good to go. So any questions on the topics? Again, if you have a question on a particular topic, just Google it, find out the definition, and then go to the next one. But out of the 23, you should be able to find one. But I have had students look at all 23 and go, nope. Or you look at all 23, and the one you choose is in the family of one of the ones you researched, okay? Because each one of these have other protocols within each one of these that you could choose, okay? So this is just these are real broad topics for the most part, all right? So that's the research paper. I'm going to click back on the course documents and go to the subscribe to course podcast in iTunes U. I won't bore you and read this, but you need to subscribe to iTunes U, which looks like this. When you subscribe to it, you have to download iTunes on your computer and Mac or PC. If you have a Mac, you already have iTunes, but if you have a PC, you might have to download it. And it doesn't cost anything. It's a free software. And I still have some content in there from last couple semesters ago, I believe still. And basically, when you come to it, our page will look just like this, because that's the site. That's what it looks like. And all you'll do is hit the subscribe button one time. It'll ask you, are you sure you want to subscribe to Network Essentials video? You'll click subscribe, and that's it. And then once you subscribe, you'll notice here at the top, it's downloading the latest podcast, which I'm going to go ahead and cancel it, which I believe is spring 2012, one of the final presentation podcasts. It was videoed. In fact, all the sessions we do in here are videotaped. With what I mean by videotape, it's recorded on my Mac, and my voice is recorded. So what you see on the overhead and what you hear is being recorded, and so you can. That's what will be thrown up here on iTunes, as well as your final presentations will be put on here as well. And then I'll also put it on our course site each week, just a reminder to visit the podcast on iTunes. And so what's cool about iTunes, if you've never used iTunes before, let me just show you real quick some of the schools that have iTunes University. Apple offers it to colleges and universities alike to offer their courses at no charge or put it private for their students. And there's literally hundreds, close to 900 now, colleges and universities that utilize iTunes U. And I believe one of the first two was Stanford and Harvard, I believe it came up. And then, so let me go ahead and see if I can get there real quick. Pull up the list anyway. Okay, so here's a list of all the universities If you see new by a university, it means they just recently joined. But both stateside and all over the world, they have universities on iTunes U. And if you click on iTunes U, it actually gives you some of the top podcasts that are being downloaded right now, some new and notable courses, Stonehill College, Open University, Ohio State, University of Oklahoma. And then it gives you the top courses over here that are being downloaded right now: resume writing, coding together, understanding happiness, Spanish, financial markets. And all these courses, like if I click on Spanish from Arkansas and you wanted to learn Spanish, you could take this course and subscribe to it. You won't get a grade for it, but you literally could learn how to speak Spanish, because it goes through video by video all the inflections and lessons on how to speak Spanish. And this is a college course taught, and there's even ability, once you subscribe on some of these courses, to ask a question. And so if you like this one, you could actually, in fact, this one, if you have an iPad, it looks like it's an iPad app that loads up in a tab view for you. But any topic you'd want to choose, you can choose from. What's hot? It's got some stuff from Cambridge. It's got Art of Breathing for the iPad, iMac, PC, Open University, Lincoln and Civil War, Huntington University, Stanford on religious perspectives, Harvard Divinity School. So tons of classes all over the world, actually, that you can actually subscribe to and take those courses, listen to those videos. And I always tell students, if you're interested in other courses but you don't quite know what it's about, you can subscribe to the course on iTunes. You get into it and go, oh yeah, I want to go there. Or you'll be like, oh no, I don't want to go there. Okay? And it's free and it doesn't cost anything. So besides colleges and universities using iTunes U, the other thing I like to show students the first night is within iTunes you can also search for other things like topics of your choosing. I'm just going to type in network and get a whole bunch of stuff with that topic. It'll break it down by iPad apps, movies, podcasts. Here we go. Here's podcast on. Let's think of another one. Let's think of photography. Maybe you want to learn some more about photography on some videos or something. So let's go to photography tips. These are all podcasts from all over. And so here's one on the history of photography podcast. And it looks like these are all documents. It says 1 second. These are all just documents you can click on and download those documents. PDF files can be put up on here as well. There we go. These are video podcasts. Anytime you see a little video icon, that means it's a video podcast. This podcast channel has 121 episodes on art of photography. Okay? So anything that you want to learn, you can basically find a podcast for it. Somebody has created one. You can just, hunt around and look and see which ones are good, see which ones aren't so good. Subscribe to it. If you don't like it, you can delete the subscription and just not watch it. The other thing you'll find in podcast is that they have different categories. So if I wanted to go to specifically technology, it'll group together all the technology podcasts into a grouping. And so this might be easier to do than to try to search for keywords. So if you want to find all the podcasts that are in an area of technology, in a category of technology, you can do that. And they have some popular ones while it's loading, like Leo Laporte has been around for years. He has a number of good podcasts on technology. You've got Twit, the Twit account, or you might have heard of Twit, or Dig Nation used to be around it. It went away a couple years ago. Two young guys, one Kevin Rose and another guy that ran it. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay, so Geek Beat's another popular one. HD Nation, Techzilla. These are all tech type of podcast that you can definitely try out. Okay. Now, a podcast is kind of like YouTube, but a little different in that the videos or the audios that the podcast is created with, you download to your actual Mac or PC. So it's not streaming, whereas YouTube, everything streams on your browser, and sometimes they can, depending on your network connection, it might be great, but it also might not be so great. And so the quality, I would say, on iTunes generally is a little bit better quality, just because all the content you're watching is downloaded to your computer before you watch it. And these are people like the ones you're seeing here. They make a living doing these podcasts. That's their business. And so, whereas on YouTube, you can get anybody to create, chase a cat around the living room. Not to say you don't have good podcasts on YouTube, because you do, but does that answer your question? So, and there's two types of podcasts. You've got video and audio. And so you know which one they are, but when you click on any one of these, so if I click on Geek Beat with Callie here and click on Geek Beat, it'll load up that podcast. And notice it has this little icon right here. You know it's a video, and it tells you how long it is. Okay? And when you subscribe to these, like I'll subscribe to hers on my Mac here, and I'll show you what it looks like on the library over here. So I'm going to go to my podcast library. And over here. Okay, you see where it says podcast? I'm going to click on that. And now here's all of Geek Beat podcasts. It will only download the first, I believe the first one in that series, which is this one right here. But if I wanted to download another one, so I want to go down here and download, I don't know, HP Windows 8 notebooks and tablets revealed in CES 2013. If I click this button right here, this arrow, it'll download that to my Mac, and then I can play it. Okay? And again, the quality is going to be much better. Let's see if I can get one here. Here's one on Oracle issues, Java patches, should you still worry? And it's already downloaded, it has a little blue dot. I know it's been downloaded now. And so there's the beginning of a 5-minute podcast. So pretty good quality. So I always tell students to play around with it, look at all the different podcasts that are out there. Here's our podcast that you'll see when you start downloading it. You'll get all 3 of them that are up there right now, but it'll download the first one first, which should be this one here, which I canceled. And you can do the same thing too, you can cancel it. But what's great about it is once you subscribe to any podcast or any course on iTunes, unlike YouTube, when you subscribe to the course or podcast, it automatically downloads the newest version as it comes in, okay? So you don't have to worry about finding it and searching for it. It's already there. You subscribe to it, it's done. So like tonight, I'll upload the podcast from tonight's session. If you had iTunes at home and you're already subscribed to the course, literally before you went home, it would be there and downloaded already. And you don't have to have iTunes running either for it to download. It has a service that installs on your computer automatically that runs in the background that will download that latest podcast. So I do recommend playing around with other podcasts besides ours, because I'm not going to go into it, but you have TV shows, you've got movies, music, and then even books that you can get through iTunes. So, and I do like the interface a little bit better than what it used to be. Those of you that played with iTunes before have had it. They've definitely improved the interface to be a little quicker to load and easier to navigate, and so I do like that. Okay, so that's iTunes. You have a week to do that between now and next week. This one here we're not going to go over step by step. Using YouTube videos and PowerPoint. We'll kind of go over that mid-semester when I'm helping you with your presentation and research paper. Syllabus, I'm not going to read that. You can go over that on your own. Inserting to YouTube video, just another way to insert YouTube into a video. We'll cover that mid-semester when we go more near your research paper presentation. PowerPoints. This is chapter by chapter PowerPoints from your chapter in your book that you can download. And that's the course documents. Now let's go back to lessons, and then I want to go into Q&A discussion. The Q&A discussion is an area for you guys to basically chat with each other on a weekly basis, hopefully. Anything of interest to you. You want to buy a new computer, you want your classmates' thoughts, you want to buy a new cell phone, you want some people's thought. You'll get thoughts, by the way, with both those questions, okay? And so this is your area. I'm going to try to stay out of it. This is not really an area where you're going to ask a serious class question. It's more of an area for you to ask even class and non-class related items in here. So whether it be, what's everybody think about the more taxes taken out of your paycheck the first part of the year? Start a thread on that. I don't know, whatever you want to do. Because we only meet here once a week, this is a way for you guys to build kind of group by doing this. And so if you don't have a question, but I would suggest everybody visiting it at least maybe once every other day, log into Eagle and check your email, check your discussion to see if there's anything new. Because, you never know who you can be able to help out that has a question about something. It could be a vehicle question. Some of you are good with cars. It could be how to build a computer question, anything you can think of, a politics question. So whatever you guys want to post in here, you can post in here. Just keep it nice and friendly to each other. And like I said, I stay out of it to where you guys, this is your area basically to discuss with each other outside of class. That makes sense? So I've had some semesters where this is totally filled up and, been like, 75 to 100 threads started, and students just start talking about different things. And so just, have fun with it. Some of you like to maybe chat online already, or you like to blog, or whatever. If you're that type of person, or if you just need help, like I said, you broke your cell phone, you want to know where you can fix it. Like I just heard, it was on a guy I know dropped his iPad, busted the screen, and the cost of to replace it was almost the cost of the iPad, I believe, something like that. And anyway, through talking to him about it, found out that he took it up here to, and you'll have to help me because Visconti Computers on Riverside. Okay, everybody's familiar with that maybe? He took it in there, and they fixed it for $120. He was quoted by Apple and by people that do this for a living, like in Chicago and Schaumburg, around $350 was the cheapest he could get, and they did a great job, a really nice job. So that's something that somebody could post, right? Hey, I found out you can take it to Visconti and they'll fix it, and they did a good job. So, so stuff like that. Any questions on the discussion board? What it's used for? Pretty straightforward, hopefully. All right. Well, let's go back to the lessons. Week 1. It's very difficult this first week. No, it's not. Some of you I know, just by doing this a few times, are maybe still getting your textbook, you're still getting your schedule straightened out here. So I never, for this class anyway, assign anything of depth the first week as far as from your book. And so getting started is the first thing we'll go over tonight. And then the about me, we'll peek into weeks 2 and peek into week 3, and then we're going to be done. Okay, and whatever time that is, that's what time it is we're getting out of here. All right, now generally the time frame for our classroom is going to be, we come in 7:25, you put the pin in your computer on Eagle, we begin the discussion for that chapter. It could go anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes, take a 10-minute break, come back, do a lab, hands-on lab each Thursday. Whenever we're done with that hands-on lab, we're finished for the night. Some of those labs go longer than others. I will tell you, one of the labs coming up that will go probably near 10 will be the cabling lab, where you guys have to create a straight and crossover cable, and that'll be coming up here in a few weeks. But, you know, generally, I don't ever give you an exact time each time. It's whenever we get finished. We won't go over for sure, but we never hardly ever stay till 10 o'clock, okay? The cable lab we definitely do. There might be a couple other ones throughout the semester that we're pushing it, but I don't force you to stay the time allotted in the schedule just because the schedule says so, all right? And so whenever we're through with our content in our lab, each week when you do the lab, you will get a handout generally that you can take home. You'll have a 3-hole punch up here, and some of the weeks you will get software, and so it might be worth bringing a 3-ring binder. Some students have done this in the past with maybe, you can go to Walmart and get those plastic sheets that you can hold CDs in and put them in the binder as well, along with the lab handout. And so you'll have lab handout, software. Some of the software we use each week will be downloadable, but it's actually in Eagle already, and you can download it at home and put it on your flash drive or on your computer. I do not mind you working ahead on anything in this classroom except for the labs. The labs you can actually do on your own if you want to prior to class, but you're going to do it again when you come to class, so you know, that's fine. I've had students actually do that, so that's fine. But I don't mind you working ahead on review questions and quizzes, because we pretty much have review questions and quizzes every single week, pretty much, okay? And the review questions are from the back of your chapter, the quizzes from the content of your chapter, and the quizzes are 10 questions, multiple choice. You get up to 3 opportunities to take that, like I said, that opportunities to take a quiz. You have 3 opportunities to take a quiz, and the best out of the 3, best score out of the 3, so they're worth 20 points. So if you get a 15 and you're like, good enough, fine. If you do 15 and maybe 16, then 18, the 18 is what you're going to get. Or if you do 15, 18, then 16, you do worse on the third one, you're going to get the 18, all right? Now, the way these quizzes are, if you've had me before, it's the same way. You can not only take them over again, but the answers to those quizzes are there prior to taking them over again. So there's really no reason to fail my quizzes ever, all right? So you have to read the answer and what the question and what the answer should be before taking it the second or third time, okay? Now, have I had students take things 3 times and get 50% on a quiz? Yes, but that's not going to be you, okay? Again, if you just read the quiz and the incorrect answer, it gives you the correct one, you're good to go. Because in networking and even in my programming classes, I'm from the school of thought, in technology anyway, things are changing so fast and so quickly. What you remember today will be different a year from now, or what you're learning today as far as concepts. The basic concepts of networking stay the same, and they will. The concepts you learned this semester, pretty static. But as far as understanding where to find those tools and resources when you need them is more important than memorizing a list of items, in my mind. Learning the steps of how to troubleshoot is more important than knowing the chapters of your book word by word, all right? So I'm going to try to instill in you common sense networking, is what I call it, versus book smart networking. All right? Because books, there's millions of them out there, and there's good ones. And you need to know where to find them and find those references when you need those references. And I'll show you how to do all that this semester. So that's where I come from when it comes to with assessment. In technology, I believe in hands-on, if you've had me, but I like a lot of hands-on stuff. I'm a hands-on teacher, I'm a hands-on person, and so that's how I learn, and so that's how I basically teach. And so the concepts that we learn on the chapter, I build upon with that weekly lab, okay? And I try to make them not so difficult that you just totally just say forget it, but I also try to make it interesting enough to where you think, you know, that's pretty cool. I maybe could see where that could be used even in my workplace environment, okay? And so let's go ahead and click on the Getting Started checklist. The first thing on the Getting Started checklist is make sure and purchase your textbook. Now, as of a couple semesters ago, the bookstore is now, they now give out the ISBN over the phone if you call, okay? I can't put it on the syllabus. Sometimes, I think I did on mine, but, and I don't get in trouble for it. They don't kind of frown upon it, but you can call the bookstore and get the ISBN and then buy it on Amazon, okay? As you know, like all colleges, we do mark up our text. That's not uncommon for colleges to do. It's a money maker for sure. But what's cool about Amazon, if you don't really love Amazon already, what's cool about Amazon is you can now rent textbooks. I actually posted on my Facebook page, the CIS Facebook page for our division, and I was blown away by all the textbooks. I mean, I would love to have had this when I was a student. You can rent a textbook for a semester, and it's like really cheap. It's really inexpensive, and that's great. Not only that, but ebooks. Anybody familiar with ebooks, electronic books? I mean, electronic books when they first came out, and basically what an ebook is a PDF version of your textbook. They were about maybe $10 cheaper than the hardback. I'm not doing that. I'd rather have hardback. Well, now the ebooks are actually 35–40% cheaper across the board than the hardback. And because for my iOS iPad development course, the text about $40. Students are getting it through ebook version on Amazon for $18. It's crazy. And so if you're a book person and you love to feel the book, that's fine. You don't have to have the hard copy if you don't want one. I'm sure you can find an ebook version of the text. If you can't find one, you can find used copies of the text because it is a few versions old. And so go for it. You don't need to buy a brand new text with the cellophane around it for this class. All right? Yes?
The lookups for the textbooks for courses, they all have the ISBN.
You're right, online, don't they? Through Barnes? Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, you guys probably already know all that. You're looking at me like, we already know that, we already know that, we already know that. Okay? But some of you might not know that. Okay? How many did know that? One person, two? Okay, good. Oh, great, great.
Online services and click my schedule textbook list, it'll actually itemize.
Oh, in online service they do that now?
ISBN, yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
That's where I was saying.
That's where you got it through online services? Okay. Thanks for mentioning that. Okay. Okay, sweet. Well, thank you for mentioning that. Because a lot of students will do that, I'm guessing. You guys do that, right? And then you copy and paste the ISBN, go to Amazon, and say, what's the price today for Amazon? All right? And get it in 2 days, right, in the mail. So you've got some time to get the text if you haven't yet purchased it. I've already given my spill on the bookstore, which they don't like. And then post and respond to the About Me. Now, I will say, before I diss the bookstore altogether, the ladies that work there and the people that work there, I think there might be one guy that works there. Anyway, they're great people, though. They will help you out tremendously. They're good people that work there. If you've ever been there before, they're very helpful. And they do have some other cool stuff there, too, besides just books. because I think I bought a RBC. This is my 13th year here. I bought an RBC sweatshirt there with last semester, right before Christmas break, and they're like $50 usually, and it was on sale for like $10. That's pretty good. So, and they have USB thumb drives sometimes on sale. I noticed that. So they do have some cool sales stuff there. And they have gum, right? That's good. And they got some other cool stuff, pencils, pens, things like that. Notebooks, they got that fairly. I don't think those things are marked up too much from what I could see. But textbooks definitely are, so, and you guys already know that. And so that's my spill on the bookstore. Do I know? Are they a little higher? Like $20 or something? Okay, all right. So the About Me we'll look at in just a second. Some of you have already done that. You're just posting about yourself a little bit. We'll look at that in a second. Make sure you read the syllabus this week on your own. Begin chapter reading of chapter 1 before next session. And subscribe to the course podcast. Not too hard, right, the first week? Hopefully you can get that done and get that digested and get excited, because we're going to go over some of the labs we're going to do here in just a second. I love going over the labs that we're doing in here and in any of my classes, and so let's go over that in just a second here. But I want to hit the About Me. If you've had me before, I do this in all my classes. Copy the below question, create a new post, type in your first and last name, paste the questions in a new post, reply to at least 2 others' posts, name you go by, favorite food, favorite movie, hobbies, and why you're taking the class. Okay, I'll give you mine. I feel generous tonight. I'm going to give you mine. Name you go by, well, for my family, okay, and you're going to laugh, but and especially if you've seen the movie, it's Chucky is what I was called. Okay, I've never actually told students that. You're the first in 13 years, so you should be privileged. Feel privileged, I told you that. Okay, second, favorite food. I was a chef going through school, so I'm kind of I like a lot of different food. But if I was to pick a different, a kind of food I like, I would probably have to go more towards Mexican. I was a Mexican chef for probably 3 years. I just love Mexican food. Even though my family is mostly Italian and Polish. And so you got the mixture of the two. And I love those. I love both types as well, Italian and Polish. Personal preference, though, probably Mexican food. Any type of Mexican. And I love hot stuff, too. Ghost pepper chilies, forget it. Love that stuff. And I don't recommend eating ghost pepper chilies. If you've never done it before, don't do it, because it will hurt. In fact, I'm talking about YouTube. If you want to have some fun, search in YouTube ghost pepper challenge. It's college guys eating ghost peppers and being videotaped. And it's usually the guys that think they're pretty tough, right? Sitting there with their bandanas on. And I don't know why you're wearing bandanas in 2012, but anyway, bandanas on, you got the skateboard, and eating 3 ghost peppers, or maybe 4 ghost peppers, and sitting there chomping, no problem, no, and just going nuts. I mean, crazy, because these ghost peppers will take your breath away. They will knock you out. Just picking up a ghost pepper with your fingers, the oil in the ghost pepper, if you touch your skin, it'll burn your skin. That's how strong it is. It will burn your skin. So yeah, if you want to talk about YouTube, that's what's fun about it. You can't find this on iTunes, by the way. Only on YouTube can you find a ghost pepper. Oh, well, you have different family of things with ghost peppers. Habanero would be a little lesser hot, a little lesser hot. So you got ghost pepper, you got habaneros maybe here, and then maybe jalapenos down here. So habaneros are in between, I would say, jalapeno and ghost pepper. Does that make sense? So, yeah. So if you haven't tried it though, you know, you can put it in, you can chop it up and put a little bit in like chili and stuff, just, you know, like maybe 1 ghost pepper, and chop it up real good. Wear gloves though when you do it, because again, if you get on your fingers and you know, wipe your face or wipe your eye, woo, that's not good. So, I have done that, yes, I have done that, and it's not good. And you know, I did it one night when I was cooking chili, because we were having a chili cookout one time, and I was telling you, I'd been told what I just told you guys about wearing gloves and not touching your face. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It cannot be that bad. It cannot be that bad. So I was sitting there cutting, didn't have any gloves on. And, you know, you don't have to wear gloves as long as you wipe your hands real good afterwards. But anyway, I was cutting. I put the ghost peppers, took them by hand, put them in the chili, wiped my hands with a napkin or something. I didn't wash them off. And I went to, what was it I did? I think I just went like this with my hand and went like that on my forehead. And that the oils got on my forehead, and it burnt my forehead. It literally burnt my forehead. I was sitting there about a minute later. I'm like, why? What is so hot? And I looked in the mirror, and it's totally red on my forehead. So, yeah, it definitely it does. I tried it. So favorite food, I told you. Okay, favorite movie. What about Bob? Favorite movie ever. If you're ever down or depressed and you need something, and you just have had it with life. Fire up What About Bob. I don't think they have it on Netflix yet, but definitely worth going out to Walmart and spending $4 in the $5 bin or whatever for it. And it's definitely worth it. Anybody seen the movie What About Bob before? Okay, so you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Oh my. Oh, forget it.
It hurts me.
It does hurt, yes. It does hurt, yes. I know what you're talking about. So if you haven't watched that movie, you know what to watch now. And then hobbies. I grew up in a musician's family. My dad musician, my uncle's a musician. They traveled a lot. I spent a lot of time around music people. Musicians are different people. They're just weird people, really. I can say that because I'm a musician myself, and so. But I like to play guitar. I was in a country band for a number of years. I grew up in a redneck, Webb City, Missouri, which is 10 miles. You've heard of Joplin, Missouri, from the big tornado, right? I was 10 miles from that, which was a little town called Webb City, which is basically, it's just a redneck town. It's Jeff Foxworthy type of town for sure. Now, I was born in New York City, but my mom was from that area, and so we moved to that area when I was about 5. And so I love the people, though. It was great, but I have redneck in me. It was kind of infused being brought up in that area. And so country, as you could guess, redneck, right, country. You don't like it, you're dead. And so I grew to love it as a kid, and so I still like other music, though, like rock and roll and stuff like that. But I had a country band. Okay, my version of country is Leonard Skinner. Okay, you've heard of Leonard Skinner? That's my version. So it's kind of rocky country type. And so I still play guitar, electric guitar, lead guitar, and love that. And my grandson's 3 years old, and he loves to sing, and he's like, I don't know where he gets this from, but no, he's definitely got the gift of talent to sing and stuff. So I love that. And then why am I taking the class? I have to because I'm teaching it. Okay, so that's me. So basically, you're going to post your questions like that, post the answers to questions, and you'll have time to read through everybody's. And I haven't done this before. I've done this semester, actually. If you have a picture of stuff you like everybody has a smartphone now, right? And you use your smartphone to take pictures of everything. So you could take a picture of your favorite food. You could take a picture of your favorite movie DVD cover. I don't know. Be creative with these questions if you want to. On the hobbies, maybe you have a Harley. That's your hobby. I don't know. Take a picture of that. So be creative with it. It doesn't have to be just boring text. You can be creative. If you want to put a video up here, a link to a YouTube video, that would be great. You can do that. All right? Because anybody can create a YouTube video now too. So any questions on the About Me? All right. Next, I want to sneak ahead a little bit to weeks 2 and 3, like I said. And this is where we actually start doing some things here. Next week, chapter 2, we're going to cover, or week 2 is chapter 1, and we're going to cover in that the introduction to networking. For the lab that week, we're going to be doing a group lab on network topology. Networks have different topologies, meaning it's a diagram of how networks are built, okay? And you will learn those different types of topologies next week, and you'll come up to the board. Those of you that are artsy and can draw will draw your group's picture on the board of your version of your network, because I'll give you a scenario of here's how many computers you have, here's how many servers you have, here's the rooms you have, here's the switches you have, and we'll define all of these items I'm talking about, and then I'll say, go at it, and your group will create this little diagram, and one of them will come up and draw on the board. And so it's a fun little way to get to know each other, plus learn about the beginnings of how to build a local area network. So we'll do that in week 2. You will have a handout for that. Also, week 2 is your first instance of review questions and quiz. Review questions for all weeks are the same. Basically, for review questions, you will just give me the number and answer. Most of them are multiple choice. There are some fill-ins, but this is all I need for your review questions. And even though you have great internet, probably, I do suggest putting your answers on like Notepad or Word or something, and then when you get ready and you're done, you can paste them into here, or you could upload the document that you're working on. I have a lot of students tell me they like just to use Notepad, type in the answers, and then when they're ready, they log into Eagle, they just paste them into this message box. Does that make sense? And so you can do that if you want to. I've even had students use their phone to do it. They type in the answer on their phone, send it to themselves, and do it that way. So however you want to do it, that's fine. Just make sure or how you put it together, how you want to do it. But the layout is just, the question number and then the answer, A, B, C, D, E, or whatever, for the review questions. Quiz, I do want to go ahead and show you an example of a quiz here, what it's going to look like. So you don't have to do this, just kind of watch on the overhead and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so here's a week 2, this is what it'll look like. It'll say it's a review test for this chapter. You can take the quiz as often as you like, but really you can't. You can only do it 3 times. However, only your most recent grade will be recorded in the online grade book. It's worth 40 points. This one is. Maximum number is 3 attempts, unlimited time limit, and review mode is full, meaning you'll be able to see all the answers as you go through here. So if I click Begin Now, it'll bring up the questions. Then I can answer these questions, go down and submit it, hit OK, and that's my first attempt. And it'll also, you'll notice, give me the correct answer. When I hit Continue and say I'm going to come back later and do it, I can look at the quiz I've taken last again before taking it the second time. Does that make sense? So avail yourself to that. You have up to 3 chances to take it, or 3 opportunities to take it. All right, so questions on assessment or quizzes, or a question on review questions, because you'll be doing those pretty much each week. Okay, research paper topic. In week 2, which is you'll have basically all the due dates, and if they're wrong right now, I will fix them. But basically the way it is for this class anyway, everything's due on the following Sunday of that week. All right? So you have 2 weeks, 2 Sundays from now is when this is due, week 2 stuff. And on this one, I'm just wanting you to submit your topic. That's it. Anytime you see the word title in Eagle, for me anyway, in my classes, just put your name in there, okay? And then the message for this one, you're just going to put the title of your topic that you've chosen for your research paper, all right? Now, if that title for your topic is not in that list of 23 we went over, just put in there, not in the list, here's my title, here's my topic, is this okay? And if it is anywhere in the realm of networking, I'm going to okay it, all right? And over the last 13 years, I've only once had to tell a student, no, not going to do that one, not going to do that one. So as long as it's anywhere in the world of networking at all, you're good to go. Now, you can be creative, right? Like I told you about the Facebook report last semester. That was pretty creative, I thought. If you want, and also students worry about this. Yeah, but I was talking to the guy next to me. He's doing the same one. That's okay. Those of you that had me before know when students do the same exact title topic, it's different. when you present it because you're different people. You're going to research things differently and look at things differently. And so don't worry about being the same as whoever's next to you, okay? That's fine. In this size of class, that will happen, okay? Like, I'll just go ahead and tell you, there probably will be multiple research papers on wireless security. That's a popular one. Everybody's into that. Everybody knows what that's about. You're kind of interested in that, interested in what that's all about. Mobile security. So there's some topics that are going to be more popular than others. That's fine. But do try to pick a topic, like I said earlier, that's you know little or nothing about. All right, and I'm going to peek ahead again to week 3. On these other weeks, I'm just going to look at the labs only on these other weeks that we're going to peek into. So week 3 lab, we're going to go right into Warriors of the Net video. And this one goes over, it's just like a 13-minute video on moving data packets, firewalls, and network traffic. And this one you get to sit back and fall asleep. No, just kidding. It's actually a really good little clip on how data moves on networks. Week 4, we'll do a ping lab. And the ping lab is basically originated with sonar in the Navy. The word ping, anyway, did. Anyway, we talk about how pinging is important to understand in networking because has anybody in here ever played online games? Online games, there you go. So ping is important. You guys who played online games already know what I'm talking about when you hear ping or you heard the latency before in your gaming because the longer lag you have on a ping between your computer and the server you're connected to for that online game could mean death. So if you have a 2-second ping, that's not good, right? You're dead before you go in there, all right? And so we'll learn about that, what ping means, how we use it in networking to troubleshoot things. Week 5, that's your Cat5 cabling. If you look on the back of the wall, you got some red cables, you got some blue cables, and you got some white cables. You'll be doing both the white and red both cabling. Even though our cables will be white, both of them, the red one's a crossover where you can take the cable and put it between 2 computers and allow it to talk to each other. And then the white one is a straight cable that allows you to connect that to a switch or router or hub that you'll learn about how to do. So we do that on week 5, and that one's a lot of fun. The way I do it on that week is your row you cannot leave until your entire row is complete with that lab. All right, that's the deal on that one. And I always have students too, always have students hang the cable around their neck when they leave. Yeah. Now you can take it off as soon as you leave, but you put it around your neck as a prize that you get to take these home and use them. All right. Week 6, on this one we'll be doing a subnet exercise, not in the folder there. Week 7, NIC installation. You'll learn how to take out and put in a NIC card on a computer, and that's the device that allows your computer to talk to networks. Week 8, we'll do a TeamViewer lab. Some of you might have already used this software that allows you to remote control into other computers. And some of you have used it, some of you haven't, and I'm guessing most haven't. And this one you'll actually get to play with it a little bit in class, and then you'll actually get to take a piece of this lab home with you, and you'll set up a time with the group, the 2 people you're working with or the person you're working with to do the lab. On week 9, we begin what's called a network call lab. You'll call companies around Rockford and the surrounding area, and I have a list of questions for you to ask them on the different types of networks that they have and what they have in their network. And so I compile all those, and you have a few weeks to answer. It's due week 12, so 3 weeks actually past this to work on it. This one, on week 9, we're doing a help desk VNC. You'll work in group, and you'll actually remote control into another computer, and I have you a list of items to do. like chatting, moving files, things of that nature. So you'll kind of get a feel for help desk type of stuff, how people work in help desk environment to help their employees through a troubled spot on their computer. Week 10 is a subnet exercise, take home. I'll begin you with this one though and help you with it, how it works, and then let you finish it and bring it in the next class. Week 11, which is not showing up, is the research night. That's the following week. That's your night to work on your research paper. No face-to-face class that week. Use this time to begin or continue to work on your research paper and presentation. Week 12, this is a fun one, the troubleshooting lab. And also the network calls lab is due that week. This one I actually take multiple troubles that people have on computers. And some of these could be issues like they can't connect to the internet, to they were fired for whatever reason, rehired back. They used to be a network admin, and now they think the current network admin is worthless, and they want rights to things on the network, and the person they're talking to doesn't know who they are. And so they're kind of an ex-network admin type person, disgruntled, and basically wants to give the IT person on the other side of the phone a hard time. That happens. Also, you have people that on this lab that are have a hard time following instructions. You have other people who are just lonely. They want somebody to talk to for a while, and it's 9 a.m., and you're the person they're going to talk to. You have other people that have installed software they weren't supposed to. You have to figure that out. And so a whole list of fun stuff that some definitely computer stuff, but some is just the person. I always tell students on this lab, the first node of every network is a person on the other end, not the computer. Because a lot of times they have emotions you're dealing with. They're mad. Maybe their wife left them, their husband left them, and they want to take it out on you, all right? And you got to deal with it. And so this is a great exercise in troubleshooting and also what you really deal with in a real world scenario. These all come from real world type of problems. Yes?
I always download stuff that I don't want to, and then I can't get it off my computer.
Yeah, you're the one I do not want to talk to. Exactly, right. Yeah, I would just say, well, that's nice. Well, when your computer gets filled, the hard drive is totally full, give me a call. No, I'm just kidding. You'll have fun, though, with that lab. You will definitely have fun with the network. Yes, yeah. Well, we watch a video before we do the lab to kind of get you in the swing of it. And the video that we watch is some guys, it's a satire type of video on networking and IT. And it's called, the video title is IT Hell Desk is the name of it. And it's where this guy's training another guy how to be a help desk person. And it's just an hilarious video. It's a really good video on things you definitely should not do, but it does probably happen in real life. Okay, and so we'll do that on week 12. Week 13, the last lab, I believe, of the semester, creating multiple users on multiple different operating systems, network operating systems. You'll have a station in this one to how to create a user in Windows environment, Mac environment, Linux environment, all three, which are the three most popular networks that you would ever work in a network environment. You'll learn how to create user accounts. So say a new employee comes in, you'll learn in this lab how to create users in all three flavors of networks. So after all these labs up through week 13, you'll have a little taste out of all these labs of what it's like to work in networking if you've never done it before. If you have done it before, you'll definitely, some of these labs will challenge you enough or maybe help you in your current setting to transfer what you're learning in here to help you in your work environment. which is great as well. Now I'll end with something I always end with on the first session for this class, and it has to do with internships. Those of you that have had me before know I'm big on helping students get jobs and get internship possibilities. We do have a website that I do want to recommend you going to, and also a Facebook page, but it's called myrbc.org. There's a poster here on the wall or a poster on the door. You see them all over campus. And myrbc.org is a website devoted to this division and the students in this division, which mean you. And what it is a place for post job postings, student success, say they want a competition. And, you know, being the first of the semester, the first week of the semester anyway, I like to kind of let you guys know about it because some of you might not have a job right now, or you have a part-time job and you like to get something a little bit more to help, you know, for resume building. And so internships are a great thing. And just so you know, internship, every time I say internship to students, they always think, oh yeah, do something for nothing. But really, that's the way it used to be with internships. But most interns today, anyway, that I've helped get jobs around here or get internships around here, are paid positions. Now, granted, you're not going to make $1 million doing it. But an example of an internship just last semester from a local firm, the student got paid $10 an hour for 20 hours a week. Started out 10 hours a week, then it moved up to 20 hours a week, and then now they're working there full time. And so, and the reason for that is it's cheaper for employees to pay an intern time-wise than it is for them to fill out all the paperwork and all the things they have to do, because you have to go through the same rigmarole whether you're paying them or not paying them. And so they feel it's better, and it is better for them to get more results a lot of times from students. And not only that, the student does make a little bit, and then at the end of that internship, the student decides, you know, a lot of times the student decides, well, do I like the company? The company decides they like the student. And if it's a good fit, a lot of times the students, you know, stay on with the company. And so, you know, it's not been like, you know, 50 jobs a month like I would like, but I would say 3 to 4 trickle in each month, new internship possibilities. Some of them are actually full-time jobs, some of them are part-time jobs. But anyway, on this site, if you go there, there's a link to the Facebook page, okay, and Twitter, both, for the site, for CIS. And that's where I post, when I post anything new on here, I also post it on Facebook and Twitter, which if you're on those accounts, you already know you get alerted immediately that, hey, there's a new post out here, and you can, you know, apply for the position. And so on this site, there's an area for you to go and click on My Life. That's the area where you can put your resume. My Future, that's the area where you can see current positions that are opened right now. And I just recently updated this list because we had a couple that were filled. And like right now, there's there's still one open here that the person got somebody, but then they want somebody else now. It's a designing a Windows app, just a really small Windows application. So if you know somebody or you yourself are a Windows developer, you know a little bit about developing applications in Windows, whether it be Visual Basic or any other language, he pays $100 for the project, or projects, I guess now, because he has a second one here. And then there's a part-time PC repair technician, and then a internship graphic designer. That one is unpaid, the internship graphic designer. I know that one is unpaid. And what this company is wanting is, they're a startup company, and they're developing an iPad and iPhone app. They have somebody for that already, an intern for that. They want somebody on the graphic side that can create the logos and images that are going to go on this app. And they're a wine company, a wine selling and tasting company. And so if you're interested, if you have graphic skills, Photoshop skills or whatever, it's a great resume building stuff, and it wouldn't be tons of time. And the lady that runs the company is really nice. And so if you're interested, post on here your life. You go to My Life, post your resume, then go to My Future, check mark you're interested, and it'll immediately be forwarded to her, and she'll contact you like tomorrow. So she's pretty quick about contacting. So if you're interested, definitely do it. And you might talk to her and listen to her and figure, you know, that's not for you. Or you might talk to her and go, oh, yeah, I could do that. And so definitely worth it. So anytime we have anything new in here, you can definitely, if you're on Facebook or Twitter, you'll be alerted. There's also other things in here like My Story. This is a place where when students have a success, whether it be at a job or an internship, I post that information.
I work with them.
You work with Brandon? So you work at Fat Wallet? Sweet. Yeah, Brandon's a good kid. He's a really good kid. And he loves Fat Wallet. He does. My Impact. Again, Brandon. This is a quote from HR. My Path. I've actually broke down in here for the degree. You know, we've all been to the RBC website, and I'm working with them on rebuilding the structure of it navigationally, but I put all the stuff for our area in here, and it is direct links to the RBC website stuff, but it's just broken down a little bit better. And the program advisor for our division, if you didn't already know, is Jim Conley, and that's his email there at the bottom. I would say don't use this email for this site anyway. There is an area called My Advisor that has a form you can fill out. You can choose what area you have a question about, put your name, email, phone number, whatever question you have for the advisor, submit it, and it'll go to Jim's inbox as well as mine, and you know, be able to contact you and set up a time to meet with you about that question you have for whatever course or whatever degree question you might have. And then there is a My Chat area. I'm generally on this. I usually try to do it in the late afternoons when I'm in my office hours. So usually between like say 3 to 4, 3 to 5 p.m. it'll be available, and then sometimes in the evening. And so if you just type your name in here and hit chat, it'll tell you if I'm available or not. And then if you know an employer that does have a job available or an internship, they can just click on the employers only and fill out their information for that internship or job, and then that'll be posted immediately on the site. And the way I post it is without the company name, okay? No company name is given on the site. And the reason for that is kind of twofold. One is so that when the company gets the name, your name, that you're interested in that, they're the ones that follow up with you, and they will tell you, I got your submission from my RVC, here's the job, here's the, give you the whole spill, basically. And so, and they take it from there. And so there are just no titles of companies given on the site, even though they put their title when they submit it. So that's the My RBC site. I definitely recommend you at least friending the Facebook and Twitter, following Twitter, friending Facebook. And there's videos on here that are cool from Cisco all the way to iOS course stuff and promo stuff for Cisco and stories on here. So avail yourself to that and utilize it. But I always tell students in this class to try to hook up with at least one company or, and volunteer your time, if nothing else, sometime during the semester to build a resume, basically, of stuff while you're learning here on campus, the stuff that you're learning here on campus. Because believe me, when employers see on your resume that, yeah, you're going to Rock Valley, you've got good references from your instructors, maybe good references from other employers, but when they see that you've maybe volunteered at a school to install printers 5 hours a week, or set up networks 5 hours a week, District 205 or whatever, that means a lot. That speaks a lot for you, okay? Because I'll tell you a story I always end with, it's about a 5-year-old story, but it's a really good story. A local guy here in town that was hiring for a network admin position and he really wanted Cisco certification for this position. Apply, put the stuff in the paper, put it on Monster and everything like normal, Rockford Register Star. Applicants started coming in, interviewing. He had 2 applicants that day to interview. The first one had tons of experience, and he had all the Cisco certification, okay? So he thought for sure. And then the other one was a recent RBC graduate in networking and in CIS. The CIS degree actually is what he graduated in. So he thought for sure, just looking at the 2 resumes, more than likely it'd be the one that had all certifications. Anyway, when he walked in his office with 1 certification, the guy had jeans and a T-shirt on. First of all, had his feet up on his desk. The guy's desk, literally almost, like his feet was like almost propped up on his desk. The guy comes in and said, introduced himself. The kid dropped his feet off the desk or whatever, propped up at. He looked over his resume. The kid, he knew what he was doing, but he basically acted like, there was nothing really he could learn there. He was pretty much, he should be privileged, him coming in his office basically to interview for this job type of thing. So he said, well, thanks, I'll give you a call or whatever. The next kid came in, was an RBC student. He had, tie, shirt, slacks, came walking in, and the kid, the first thing he said was, I graduate Rock Valley College. I do not have the Cisco certification. I'm working on it still. I've got another semester or something he had to take. But he goes, I'm willing to learn whatever it is you want me to do. And he goes, and also, I've been volunteering at local District 205, one of the schools. He'd been doing printers and basic stuff. Hadn't got paid nothing for it. Well, he come to find out the guy from the District 205 had actually called him prior and left a message with his secretary or something and relayed to him. And anyway, this IT guy from District 205 was just saying, I heard this kid's coming in to interview, and he began to tell how good this kid was to work with and how he, did everything he told him to do. He was a great asset, thought he'd be good for any company. So anyway, he said, I just want you to know, I had a guy come in before you, he was Cisco certified. He had a bachelor's degree, tons more experience than you have. But he goes, he knew everything. There's nothing he could learn here. And he probably would only last maybe 6 months before he went on to the next job, probably. So he goes, you're hired right now. Start tomorrow. The kid was blown away. He just graduated here. Again, didn't have all the certifications, but he's willing to learn. He had been given his time that semester prior, trying to pour himself into the field. And so just so you know, because a lot of students have that fear, I know you do maybe, you're taking a course, you're taking a degree, you're starting a degree, and you're like, I really don't have much experience. That's hope for you. As long as you're willing to learn, put your best foot forward, get an intern somewhere, because believe me, there's schools around here and businesses that could use you for sure. With whatever knowledge you have, they could use you for sure, guarantee it. I would love you to come in and help them. And whether it be a free intern where you don't get paid anything, but you will get a resume, and that networking that you're building with that person could go a long ways. Definitely go a long ways with jobs down the road. And so what you put out will definitely come back when it comes to doing stuff like that in other fields that maybe you're not going to get paid much for now, but it might be a big job down the road. You never know it. And so that's my little spill for the first night. If you have any questions, come up and see me before you leave. Otherwise, before you come to class next week, Chapter 1, go ahead and get it read and under your belt and get the About Me stuff done. Register for the Facebook and Twitter account. On your computers every time before you guys leave, since you're the last class in here, if you could shut them down, that would be great. Just click on the start button, shut down, or you can click once on the power button, it'll shut it down as well, however you want to do it. But look forward to the next 15 weeks of network, and I hope you learned some stuff on how to build a network and how to be a better IT person, how to learn the field of IT and networking, and we'll have a lot of fun. So look forward to it. If you have any questions, come up and see me.